Let's talk matters your health. Remember at the very beginning of the show, I posed a question to you and I told you we'll be having a doctor in studio with us. So you were to send your messages. I will be sampling them as we continue. And the question was, what question do you have concerning diabetes? When it comes to diabetes, what questions do you have concerning this particular condition that is very prevalent as we speak right now in the country? Our topic of conversation is on exactly that, non-communicable diseases, and we're going to be looking at diabetes to be specific, trying to look at ways to prevent it and ways to manage diabetes if you already have it. And what better way to go about this than to have a doctor who has specialized on that. That is Dr. Daniel Katambo. Dr. Daniel Katambo is a consultant physician and the founder and CEO of Afyacode Ltd and a trainer on diabetes remission. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Vivian.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You know, before the camera started rolling, we had a conversation on this book right here that we'll be getting into it. And trust me, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it, because as of me right now, I'm wondering what I'll be eating, but we'll get into that. First of all, let's just start by defining what diabetes is.
Yeah, diabetes is a group of diseases that is, by simple terms put, means when you check your blood sugar in your body, it's actually high. What causes your blood sugar to go high can be several factors. It could be due to lack of the organ that produces insulin. It's not now producing insulin. So when you take anything that is converted to sugar, then the pancreas produces insulin, and the insulin is responsible for making sure that you process the sugar and the sugar goes down. So two things could be happening, especially for the bigger two types of diabetes. Number one, it's either you do not have, the pancreas is not working well, and now when you take in anything converted to sugar, because now there is no presence of insulin totally, then this is type 1, where the pancreas is not producing insulin at all. Therefore, the sugar goes up because of type 1 diabetes. Now, type 2, on the other hand, which is the majority, tends to go up because the pancreas has been overworked for a very long time because you've been bringing in a lot of sugar. The sugar goes up, the pancreas helps you, the sugar goes up, you store it, you store it, you store it, you gain weight, you gain weight, you gain weight, until to a point whereby the pancreas is now not able to produce enough insulin. And therefore the sugar now comes up and it's producing insulin, but not a lot. In this case, then you develop type 2 diabetes. Now, so to go back to put it simply, what diabetes is, we tend to say it's a chronic progressive disease that is as a result of elevated blood sugar levels. And that could be the reasons. Just probably, I'm sure you would have asked me the types of diabetes. So that explains what type 1 diabetes is, what type 2 diabetes is. And now to explain other causes of diabetes, you could get diabetes that appears in pregnancy, which is called gestational diabetes. And at 24 weeks, 28 weeks, we screen all pregnant mothers for diabetes. You could also get diabetes due to drug abuse, especially alcohol abuse, other drugs like steroids. And you could also get drugs from several other groups of drugs. You could also get diabetes from accidents, trauma-induced diabetes, where you have, you got an accident, maybe you're riding on a motorbike and then you get accident that injures your pancreas. And remember, we said the pancreas produces insulin that is responsible for bringing down your sugars. You could also get diabetes due to cancer of the pancreas. You could also get diabetes due to other diseases like gallstones. So there are many processes or physiological processes that can go not well or pathologically to cause your sugars to go up. That's why we say diabetes is a group of diseases. Yes.
What are the early signs of diabetes? How can I tell that I could be having diabetes?
So in general speaking, now depending on which one you have, I will talk mainly for the two common ones. So if you look at type 1 diabetes, tends to be a bit dramatic, meaning your pancreas kind of stops to produce insulin almost at once, and it's more common in children, and it tends to have two peaks between 5 and 7 years, and between 12 and 18 years. So that's when you get to see the peak. So number one is you will get a child. Number two, they will come and they will be very thirsty. They will be taking a lot of water. They will also be peeing because their sugars has gone up. It's not going down. So the body tries to eliminate the glucose. And what does it do? It eliminates the glucose through the kidney. And when it's doing that, it is eliminating with water. So you pee out, and because you're peeing out, you get dehydrated. So you're drinking and you're also peeing. And when the body is doing that, it's also asking you to bring more sugary stuff. So you tend to take things like sodas, sugary stuff. So you are eating more, you are peeing more, and you are eating more of sugary stuff. And unfortunately for type 1 also, they present when they are thin. Now for type 2, signs and symptoms are quite a little bit slower. Then it's not dramatic. In fact, one of the signs and symptoms of type 2 diabetes, the biggest sign is getting lethargy. I just feel tired. I go home, I feel I am not okay. You get home, like if you are the dad of the family, you just get into that sofa that you like sitting and you don't want to do anything else. You feel tired. So if you feel tired, you feel like your mind is kind of like foggy. You don't want, by the time you're engaging your mind, you feel like you're getting tired. At this point, you need to really be checked or screened for diabetes. Now, by the time you get the real symptoms, which are now the sugar is really elevated and you are having peeing a lot, drinking a lot, and eating a lot, that time type 2 diabetes has already established. And remember, type 2 diabetes occurs in adults, mainly in adults. It can still occur in children, but it's more in adults who are overweight and obese.
Okay, all right. How is it diagnosed?
So the diagnosis of diabetes, of course, now it will depend on what it has presented with, but there are three tests we use. Number one, you can just check your sugar. There is a gadget called a glucometer, which uses strips. You just prick yourself. You fast for 6 to 8 hours. And then you come in the morning, or you come in the evening if you have not taken anything, and we check your sugars. If your sugar is below 6 on fasting levels, if it's below 6, we say you are likely to be normal. If it's anything between 6 to 6.7, we say you are pre-diabetic. And anything more than 6.7, then we say you could probably be diabetic. Now, that is for fasting. For random blood sugar, for example, you come in and we check your sugars generally need to be less than 7.8. Anything between 7.8 to 11.1 is pre-diabetic. And anything random between more than 11.1 with symptoms, like the ones we talked about, then that time we say you have we also diagnose you with diabetes. The third method that we use is a test we call HbA1c. HbA1c is a test that when we are following you up after diagnosis or follow-up, we use it to regulate medications also. So when you come in and we do this test, again, I will use standalone numbers. If your number is less than 6%, then we say you are normal. If it is 6 to 6.5, then we say you are pre-diabetic. And anything more than 6.5, we say you could be diabetic. But the method for diagnosis at pregnancy is different. So during screening, there are things that we look for when you are pregnant. So if you are pregnant and you've had diabetes during pregnancy, your previous pregnancy, then during your first presentation to the clinic, we need to do what we call an OGTT, where you swallow some 75 grams of sugar and we check your sugars at 0 level and at 2 hours. And this time, if your numbers are higher, then depending on the baselines that have been put, then we can say you are diabetic. So for all pregnant mothers, if you've had diabetes previously, you must have a screening for diabetes at the time you present at this pregnancy. If you've never had diabetes, then we screen you at 24 and 28 weeks. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what exactly brings about the diabetes in pregnant women?
So in pregnancy, diabetes is mainly due to hormonal changes. Okay. There's an hormone at 24 and 28 weeks. That is at that point that it's at its peak. And that causes what we call insulin resistance. It's called human placental lactogen hormone. Okay. And it's the one that tends to cause more insulin resistance. And that's why at that point, we want to screen and pick the condition early.
All right. Yeah. How common is diabetes in Kenya at the moment? What's the prevalence?
The prevalence of diabetes, unfortunately, it's quite common right now, and it's increasing. If you look at the risk factors for diabetes, for example, you will realize one of the risk factors for diabetes is a general population that, first of all, due to urbanization and the rest of the stuff, so you find we are using less of our legs and such. So if you look at that, the condition now has increased. So we say around 3 to 4% of adults. And how many adults are there in Kenya? Around 22, 21? That places the numbers to around probably 800 to 1 million people in Kenya living with diabetes as we speak today, adults, which is a higher number given our population. But that number is divided either for type 1 and type 2. So that will be occupied by around 95%, 90 to 95% will be type 2 diabetes, and about 5% would be occupied by the other diabetes, with 3% being type 1 and then 2% being the other types of diabetes.
All right. Let's get into diabetes remission, which is where we'll come to the book, you know. So when we talk about diabetes remissions, what are we looking at?
So previously, we have known diabetes, as I said, you remember when you asked me what's the definition, I said we have been saying that it is a chronic progressive disease. Now, I must clarify for our viewers that type 2 diabetes is the one we talk about remission. Because remember, type 1 diabetes is caused by lack of insulin. So you take in anything with sugar, especially stuff that is converted to sugar, which is carbohydrates, your sugar goes up. You need insulin to bring your sugar down. Now, if your organ is not producing insulin at all, then you realize the only treatment to this condition is insulin. So for type 1, we never talk about remission or reversal. We only talk about remission and reversal in type 2. And that is what occupies mostly of our patients. Now, I will take you back to the pathology that results from us developing type 2 diabetes. Most of us are at our thinnest level at about the time we finish campus. When we finish campus or college, or you have finished maybe your tertiary degree, somewhere there, you either get married or you're married, and you get a job. And then what happens? You start feeding, you start driving to work, you start, you come to work, you are relaxed, and you start eating in the morning. Maybe you are late, you carry your kikombe ya chai kwa gari, and you get these guys who are selling for you fruits, you buy them, and you are eating and you are driving to work. You get to work, you get here, there is probably some mandazi, there is some ndomas, there is something, and then saa 4 there is some another mandazi, saa 7 there is a mixture of chapati, rice, jioni kuna keki, kuna anniversary, tukitoka hivi kuna kapombe tumekula na kanyama na nini, na usiku bado tumekelewa hii nyama mzuri tukiwa nyumbani na mabibi zetu tukiwa home. So you find we have accustomed ourselves, first of all, in that lifestyle, you have slowed down, and secondly, we are eating more. So your pancreas keeps producing insulin to keep up with the sugars that you're bringing in. But you only needed this amount in a day. But this day, you are bringing in a lot. So the pancreas keeps trying to keep up with you, keeps trying to keep up with you. So over years, you gain weight due to these habits. So you gain weight because the body is trying to convert the sugar into something to store it for your future. But you are never deprived, because tomorrow you will do the same.
Yeah.
So you keep gaining weight, but the body and the pancreas gets tired at some point. And at this point, that is when you develop type 2 diabetes. Now, think about it this way. If now you lowered the amount of sugar that is coming in, and you're able to keep up with the amount of insulin that the body is, producing. For example, if you lowered your carbohydrate intake, we usually measure, there are a way we can approximate from 250 grams to probably, let's say, 50 to 70 grams. You have lowered it. What happens to your insulin levels? They go low.
Goes down.
Now, how much drugs do I need in this point? If I were taking drugs, it's because in the morning I was taking 4 slices of bread. If you take 4 slices of bread, I've just shown you off camera, you get like about 15 teaspoons of sugar, right? And now at that point, that's when you are taking drugs. What if you don't take the 4 slices of bread and you take probably 3 eggs and mboga and your coffee or your tea? The sugar remains flat. How much drugs do you need?
You do not need.
You do not need drugs. So in this case, if you're able to keep this and your HbA1c drops from maybe 10.8 to 6.5, then we say you are in remission. As long as you sustain that for 3 months, then we say you are in remission. And that's why we have coined the word type 2 diabetes reversal or remission. And it's now commonly widely used.
Yeah, so it's actually recognized by medical organizations, for example, like World Health Organization, the remission. Whereby you just work on your lifestyle, work on what you're eating, and you do not need the drugs for diabetes. Let's get into the book. This is where the shock for me came in, because when I talk about healthy diets, probably your breakfast, what do you think about? You think about your cup of tea or coffee, and then you have it with your ndoma, ongwashe, and then you have a fruit, probably a banana. But if you look at this book, which is called Kenya's First Comprehensive Kitabu Cha Sukari, a photographic guide to weight loss, pre-diabetes, and diabetes management. If you look into this book, I don't know if you know where they are. So let's find the ngwashe.
Sweet
and then
potatoes.
We find a banana, one banana. And the equivalent of the amount of teaspoons of sugar that you'll be taking in is shocking. So for ngwashe, you take 1 ngwashe, this size of ngwashe, or maybe just a piece of ngwashe. If it's just this piece, I don't know. Okay, let's do it from this side so that we can zoom it in. There we go. If it's just, okay, there we go. If it's just 1 piece of ngwashe, then you're taking an equivalent of 4 teaspoons of sugar. That's 1 piece of ngwashe, 4 teaspoons of sugar. For those of us who eat much, if you eat this whole ngwashe, then you're taking in 6 tablespoons of sugar in the morning. That time you're having your tea bila sukari because you don't want sugar, right? And then we have that with a banana. Where's the banana? All right, let's find the banana. It's interesting. That's why I'm wondering, what are we supposed to be eating? But the doctor is here. He will advise. So you're having that piece of ngwashe, which was just one of them, if you don't eat much, which was 4 tablespoons of sugar. If you have it with 1 banana right here, just 1 piece of banana, it's equivalent to 9 tablespoons of sugar. But we're always advised to have fruits.
Yes, we are always told so.
Yes. So at the end of the day, you've taken 13 tablespoons of sugar in the morning.
Yes.
Atujaangalia bado lunchtime.
And remember, a human being needs around 10 to 15 in a day.
10 to 15 tablespoons.
Everything, yes.
Yeah. Interesting. So now, I want us to do a whole meal for the whole day. So now we have an equivalent of 13 tablespoons, right? Just in the morning. What are we having for lunch? The healthy version that we all believe it's healthy. Githeri.
Yes.
Find me Githeri. I want us to just look at it and
this the last
get as shocked as I am.
That last one.
So we have githeri.
Quantity.
Yes. You have a plate of githeri. Lunchtime. We're just trying to check how many tablespoons of sugar we take in a day without knowing that we're actually ingesting that much sugar. So for githeri, a plate of githeri, not even much, is equivalent to 13 tablespoons of sugar.
Yes.
Wow. So plus 13, that's 26.
Yes.
That's lunchtime. What are we having for dinner?
Remember at 4 there is a cake.
Oh, yeah.
That has come because it's an anniversary.
Ama chai ya jioni, which is chai and 2 pieces of mandazi. Mogaka says he has 4 pieces.
So which cake are we taking?
So we have pieces of cake here. Most of us love Black Forest. So let's take a piece of Black Forest. Na chai ya jioni.
Yes.
Right? There we go. A piece of Black Forest. It's equivalent to 17 teaspoons of sugar.
Yes.
My goodness.
Yeah.
17 teaspoons of sugar. So that's 33.
Yes.
33.
Yes.
Okay, my director is saying we love chapati over here. So dinner we are having chapati and beans.
You want to have chapati beans?
Let's have chapati beans.
Okay,
dinner.
chapati beans is 20. So here, mbili ama tatu?
Chapati ni ngapi? Mbili.
Nne.
Nne, you're overdoing, my friend.
Now, the one down there.
There we go. 2 pieces of chapati with your beans.
Yes.
That's equivalent to 20 teaspoons of sugar. My goodness.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, there we go.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, in just that one day, believing that we've had a healthy diet throughout the day. Kwa sababu hatujakula red meat. Si red meat tunaambiwangwa it's not very good.
That's very interesting actually. Now compare with red meat. Assuming you take kuku choma, for example.
Okay.
Right?
But just with the breakfast that we had with chai and your piece of ngwashe and a banana, and then lunchtime we had githeri, and then we had a piece of cake, chai ya jioni, and then usiku tumekula chapati na beans. That's an equivalent of 53 tablespoons of sugar in a day.
Yeah.
That's alarming.
And that word we have used, alarming, is the reason why diabetes is on alarming levels. That is exactly what is leading us to diabetes, unknowingly. So in terms of prevention, we need to reduce how much sugar we are bringing into our bodies. So you don't have to really cut out carbohydrates, but you can reduce because you can see the reason why we are where we are. So the point is now, if you're not diabetic, then we need to make sure that we are not taking this much so that we don't get there. And that is why the question of what then do we eat, right? Now go into this stir-fried goat, 300 grams, has how many?
Watu wanyama, masani yetu. There we go. So 300 grams of nyama. Here we have it. That's red meat. 300 grams is equivalent to 0 tablespoons of sugar. Isn't it pieces ngapi?
300 grams.
300 grams. Here we go. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's 0 tablespoons of sugar.
So let's say you take it with what? Lunchtime.
Ugali.
Kaugali. Let me show you where the kaugali is. The kaugali is here.
Remember, you can get to join in this conversation. The number is 0716-103-301. 0716-103-301. Talk to me. Let me know how shocked you are right now, or if you have any questions for our doctor, he's here. He's going to answer us. So we are having it with a piece. Just this piece, though I know this is not what you guys eat, but let's go with this, just one piece of it. This piece of ugali plus the nyama, 300 grams, you'll have taken 6 tablespoons of sugar.
Yes.
Which is not bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then now, probably in the morning, you took something that doesn't have a starch, right? And I will show you what it could be.
So you say normally for, you know, if
we're supposed to
eat
range between 10 to 15.
10 to 15 tablespoons.
Ikienda sana ifike 20.
Okay, 10 to 15
Now
tablespoons.
look at this
of sugar.
second picture. That one. Eggs, mboga, na avocado.
Okay, if you decide to have your breakfast, ikiwa just 2 boiled eggs with some mboga and avocado, if this is your breakfast, then at the end of that meal, you'll have taken only 1 tablespoon of sugar.
Exactly.
So bottom line is we avoid carbohydrates at all costs. But it has its work in the body for us to have had a balanced diet. You know, from the simple science we learned in school, you need to have your carbohydrates intake, you need to have your protein intake, you need to have your vitamin intake. So how to go about it? So,
and I know this is where diabetes reversal, if you really aim to have diabetes reversal in any patient that you see, you must then demystify some of these things that we learned in school. For example, we were told that carbohydrates are energy-giving foods.
Yes.
True or false? They are. And I agree. But they give you energy plus what? Sugar. All right? So if I take a banana, now you know you will get about 8 teaspoons of sugar with energy. If I take nyama, I'll also get energy, but without the sugar. All right? If I take sukuma wiki, I will also get energy without the sugar. If I took vegetables, I will get vitamins, minerals, phosphorus, and all those minerals that people are looking for in fruits without the sugar. So bottom line, food can be put into like 4 categories. I like putting them. One, there is vegetables, there is fats, there is proteins, and then there is carbohydrates. This is what people tend to concentrate the most. But do you know how many carbohydrates do you need in a day? And scientifically speaking, is 0. And we know it. So what group of carbohydrates is called, what foods fall under carbohydrates? And the number 1 on the list is fruits. So if we do not need carbohydrates, and the first number here is fruits, so how many fruits do you need in a day? Realistically speaking, if you don't eat a fruit and you take enough vegetables, then whatever the fruit is giving you, you can get it in the vegetables without the sugar. So there is no fear. So when we talk about carbohydrates, we need 0 amount of them in the body. And what the body does, for example, if I eat nyama, and then the body wants some sugar, through a process of gluconeogenesis in the liver, the body is able to generate sugar. But if I eat mukate, and the body needs proteins, there is no way mukate can be converted into proteins. No. The other way around, it's impossible. So if I ate like a bit of fats, like healthy fats, like kuku na ngozi yake, and then the body realizes, oh, I need a little bit of some fat, it will use, some glucose. It will use gluconeogenesis process to process and convert the fat into sugar. That's fine, and it will just convert the basic one that it needs. But if I eat, on the other hand, I eat ice cream, and then the body needs the essential amino acid, you will never get them. So basically speaking, if you are at a point of prevention, if your point is about prevention, then you need to minimize. I'm not saying people should not take carbohydrates. All I'm saying is that people need to minimize. As you've seen, in fact, I will tell you on average, people take about 80 to 100 teaspoons of sugar. That we were very modest. If you look at how many people. Now you can imagine just moving from 80 to 100. And our quest is, let's reduce this to even maybe 20 to 30, so that the prevalence of obesity and diabetes can go down.
All right. And on that note, we have a live link right now. Allow me to hand you over to Miriam Masava, who is at the Rema Fest 2025 that is happening, that is currently ongoing. It officially started yesterday at 2 p.m. and it is currently ongoing. Masava is right there on your screens, coming to us live from Uhuru Park. Masava, tell us what is happening over there.
Well, good morning to you, Vivian, and good morning to all our viewers this morning. Yes, indeed, this is the day the Lord has made. My name is Miriam Odanga, coming to you from Uhuru Park, where this is Rema Fest 2025 happening here at Uhuru Park. And Rema Fest is a gathering of believers, non-believers, a gathering of Kenyans. Rema Fest is just a gathering of people coming together to hear the gospel of God, to hear different speakers who have been brought in from different countries, just to hear these speakers preaching the gospel to people. Yeah, so it attracts different people across Africa, Europe, Asia, America. People come as far as Canada, Australia, just gather here in Kenya to hear what the Lord has in store for them. All right, and Rema Fest has been happening for 10 years, and this is the 10th year, and the theme for this year is I will build my church, coming from the book of Matthew chapter 16 verse 18, where Jesus is talking to Peter, telling him, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail. Rema Fest began yesterday, and it's an event that goes for a whole week. So for this year, it will end on Friday, the 5th of September 2025. Rema Fest begins early in the morning every day. So early in the morning at around 8 a.m. goes all the way to 10 p.m. And yesterday we saw the opening ceremony was amazing. The first speaker was Pastor or Bishop J.B. Masinde, a father in the land who is celebrated, honored and loved by Kenyans. And we saw also different speakers like Pastor Poju, Pastor Oyedepo from Nigeria, and we had Minister Sinach from Nigeria, Minister Kambua, and also Minister Rebecca Don, ushering us to Rema Fest with beautiful, amazing, powerful songs that really led people to pray and just to worship and bask in the presence of God. Just that was just day one. What do you expect about day two? Day two is amazing. Day three will be even more powerful. Day 4 and day 5 will be more powerful, because you're expecting even greater speakers will be joining us here. I'm talking about Apostle Joshua Salma, Pastor Tim Mwangi, Reverend Julian Kula, and others. So you want to stay here on KBC Channel 1 to be blessed with this speaker. So I just want to catch up with one or two people who have been here since yesterday to tell us how their experience about Rema Fest was be. So for a minute or so or less, let me just speak with Rosalind. Rosalind, you can join me here and tell us Rema Fest imekuaje since yesterday.
Hi, I'm Rosaline. I was really blessed yesterday. The speaker that ministered to me, he came out so simply, Bishop J.B. Masinde. He told us that God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all that we can ask or even think. And there's a statement he made that hatufai kurumia Mungu. So that stood out for me. And it's not my first time in Rema Fest. This is my 4th time in Rema Fest since 2022. And I'm looking forward for what God has in store for us.
Well, thank you so much, Rosalind. Yes, that's it. And you can catch up with John as well. Thank you so much, Rosalind. John, kuja utuambie ine marako ya kwanza Rema Fest.
Okay, my name is John, and ideally this is my first time attending Rema Fest. It was an invitation from my friend, and I'm expecting so much in terms of spiritual growth being ministered upon by these great men of God. So I hope for this whole week it will be such an amazing time, a wonderful time to actually get to connect with God and all these ministers that ministering to us. So dearly I expect a lot from this week of the Rema Fest.
Yes. Thank you so much, John. Thank you. So yesterday we saw an amazing firework at around 9 p.m. and it was so beautiful. Na tuko na majenzi going to the street, just chanting and singing beautiful songs about the beautiful song, gospel song of Pastor Nathaniel Basi, who's also be joining us on Thursday and Friday. Watu wa Hallelujah Challenger, this is the day for you. On Friday, join us here at Uhuru Park. Pastor Nat will be ministering. He is bringing Hallelujah Challenge Challenge Kenya edition here on Friday night, going through to Saturday morning. Tutakuwa tunaiva tu, hey, Yahweh Sabaoth. So join us here on Y254 on KBC and catch all the ministering gospel songs, gospel words. You don't want to go anywhere. And ministering right now, right behind me, tunezaona, there is a speaker who is speaking, and his name is Pastor Felix Oko from South Africa. Now he's ministering in line with the theme of the day, which is I will build my church. Pastor Felix Oko from South Africa. And there are other speakers who will be coming in today, later on today. This is just the first session here at Rema Fest 2025 on Tuesday morning. Of course, there are other speakers. If I could just get the list and tell you more people who will be joining us this day. The first speaker for the day today is Pastor Felix Oko from South Africa. Then later on, we'll have Pastor Oyedepo, Lady Bishop Kathy Kiuna, our very own mama of JCC. We'll there have Pastor Poju and Lady Bishop Funke Felix. That is the lineup for today, Tuesday. And also Wednesday, we'll also have Lady Bishop Kathy Kiuna, Bishop JB Masinde, Pastor T. Mwangi, and Reverend Julian Kula. Let me not preempt so that you can plan yourself ni speaker mgani you want to come listen to. But I want to invite you here at Uhuru Park and come and listen to all speaker. You don't need to decide which speaker you want to come listen to. Come listen to all of them. All right. Just to remind you, Tuesday today, the one ministering right now is Pastor Felix Oko. And then later on, we shall have Pastor Oyedepo, then Lady Bishop Kathy Kiuna, Pastor Poju.
All right, and there we have it. Thank you so much, Miriam, for that. Now, we've talked about the food for the stomach, which was what we were talking about, food for the body. But if you want to go get some food for the soul, you know where to go. That is Uhuru Park. We end this conversation right here. Thank you so very much, Dr. Daniel Katambo, for joining us. We definitely are going to find some more time so that we come back and talk about what exactly is proper for us to put in our bodies. If anyone of you wants to get a copy of the book or wants to get to know more about, just how much sugar you may be intaking, you can find Afyacode across all social media platforms, right? Afyacode on Facebook, Instagram, all over. You can find them. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you.
All right, this is where we end this conversation. Thank you so very much. My name is Vivian Degwa. This is Good Morning Kenya. We do this each and every morning. So see you next time.